Hello. Just checking we're all set up here. Looks like we are good to go. And we have someone joining us already, so I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes, or maybe not quite a couple of minutes. Just wait and see. Yeah, 2 people now. Do say hello. Say hello, and do also let me know if you have any questions that you would like me to answer. Hello. Hi, Becky. Hello. Hey, guys. Good to have you here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm also going to go live on Instagram. Really going for it. Here we go. We're going live and starting that as well. Perfect. I think we're all good to go. Yeah, we are. Hello. Hi. Right, let's get started then. So, hello, my name is Kelly. For those of you that don't know me, I am the founder of Digital Yoga Academy, and I'm super happy to be here today on this live call. It's since I've done any Facebook Live on the Facebook page here, the Digital Yoga Academy Facebook page, since before Christmas. So this is actually the first live of 2018, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you go about finding your yoga teaching sweet spot. Okay, so this really is all about your niche. It's how you go about finding your niche so that you can teach with more passion. And that's really, really important for helping you to build a tribe and to build a community of people that really resonate with you and your teachings. So in my job, I speak to a lot of yoga teachers, and this is something that does come up a lot. But what I found is that those teachers that go on to be successful, they're almost always able to really articulate who it is they teach and what they teach. Okay, so they've carved out a really sort of valuable yoga niche, and then they've built their yoga teaching careers around those niches. And this is becoming more and more important because, as we know, the yoga industry is booming. There's lots of new teachers in our space now, which is great because they're all there to share their magic and to share their teachings and to get more people into yoga, which has got to be a good thing. But you might begin to start to wonder, you know, how you can reach more students and how you can support yourself when there are so many other new teachers out there and so many teachers who are trying to do the same thing. So I'm sure lots of you, might wonder that, and definitely some of the teachers that I speak to on a regular basis ask me this question. But it's really important to have a clear understanding of who you are as a teacher and what it is that you're really passionate about and what kind of teacher that you want to be. Okay, because lack of success in teaching yoga is often due to not having a clear understanding of your own identity as a yoga teacher. And many yoga teachers, they make the mistake of trying to cater to everyone, and you can't cater to everyone, you can't please everyone. What happens is this results in an unclear message. You give out an unclear message and you actually end up serving no one. But if you want to be, really well known for something, then it's important to narrow in and start to focus on a particular niche or a specific type of student with a specific need. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, yoga is for everyone. Isn't it? Isn't yoga for everyone? And it is. It certainly is. Of course, as a yoga teacher, you want everyone to benefit from yoga. We all do. However, when you try to offer a yoga class that that's, you know, that meets the needs of every single student can be really difficult, because everyone has different goals for their practice. Okay, so every student has a different reason as to why they're practicing yoga. Okay, and what happens is when you try to please all of those people, you end up delivering your teachings in a way that's not really authentic. Okay, because you can't please everyone and you can't be an expert in everything. It's just the way it goes. It's the same with everything in life. You can't be an expert in everything. Okay, so your students, well, you'll know this, your students, you know, they come to class with different levels of experience. Some are beginners, some are more advanced, and they have different ages, different genders, backgrounds. So whilst it's important to, you know, take an inclusive approach to your teaching, it's also really important to carve out a specific offering that helps you to meet the specific needs of a specific type of student, because that's really beneficial for you. Okay, so as a new teacher, or even if you've been teaching for some time but you've been teaching in more of a generalistic way, finding your yoga niche can sometimes be really tricky. Okay, so you could end up listing all of your interests and your passions, but still feel like you're really stuck and you're unsure as to, you know, what area to focus on. But really, this is part of the process. Okay, so don't let it hold you back. If that's how you feel, if you are looking at, okay, if you're thinking, you know, what is it that I'm passionate about? What is it that I really want to teach? But you still feel a bit unstuck, or you still feel stuck, don't let it hold you back, because the important thing is to just get out there and get experience and teach, and use this as part of your understanding of what your niche is. Okay, so it's part of the process of really fully defining your specialism, and part of the process as to how you go about marketing to your ideal students. Okay, so it's much better to get up and running than to wait around, and that way you can test out different classes, you can get teaching different types of students, you can learn from your successes and your failures. You know, you can take what you've learned from all of your previous attempts, and then you can move forward with that, with new ideas. So you might still be wondering, look, Kelly, what is a yoga niche? I still don't quite understand it. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's talk about first. Let's firstly talk about, you know, what it is, the subjects that you learn in your teacher training. So when you go through a 200-hour teacher training, you're going to learn about lots of different subjects, asana, meditation, pranayama, anatomy, yoga philosophies. All of those topics are part of your 200-hour training. But you might find that, well, in fact, you probably will find that you don't resonate with all of those subjects. Some of those subjects you're really passionate about and you want to learn more about. Some of them, you know, you take the knowledge, you take what it is that you need from that particular topic to impart on your students, but perhaps they're not necessarily the things that you're really passionate about. So you should ask yourself, you know, what do I feel most passionate about teaching? And that will help you to start narrowing down on a specific subject that you're most interested in. And you know, that helps you, when you start doing that, it helps you to define yourself as an expert teacher in that particular subject. And it also helps your ideal student, because they're the ones, the ideal students, they're the ones that are also interested in that subject. Okay, so this is the key thing when it comes to a yoga niche. It's being confident to think, okay, I'm going to just narrow down on this subject because I'm really passionate about, and then letting those students that are also really passionate about that subject, letting them find you. And when you can marry the two together, that's when the magic happens. Okay, because that is when you start to build a tribe of people, a community who really resonate with you as a teacher and really resonate with your teachings and what you can offer them. Okay, so there are many ways that you can go about niching. I'm going to talk about some of those now. But, you know, you could focus on the areas that you've learned in your training. So that's one way. But also you could, you know, look at the different styles of yoga. So, you know, we all know there are so many different styles of yoga. You could be a hot yoga teacher or a Kundalini yoga teacher, Ashtanga, Bhakti, Yin yoga. There are many, many more. Also, you could look at different combinations of yoga. So yoga for athletes, mum and baby yoga. We've got Becky on the call here. I know she does mum and baby yoga. And, you know, even beer yoga. Then you could look at specific needs of your students. So maybe yoga for some type of recovery, like yoga for back pain, yoga for depression, yoga for recovery from addictions. There really is a yoga for everyone these days, okay? So the challenge for you as a teacher is working out your unique style and what it is that you can offer your ideal students that is both authentic and that you can deliver with passion, okay? So instead of offering a general yoga class, your yoga class is a niche yoga class that targets a specific group of students with a specific interest or goal, okay? So hopefully that should give you a bit of a better idea of what a yoga niche is, and that's what we're talking about right now. If you've just joined me on Instagram or on Facebook, hello Alithia. Hey, say hello, ask any questions that you might have about niching or any fears or worries that you've got about niching as well. I've had a few questions on that which I will come on to in a moment. I mean, let's talk about one of those now. So one of the fears that you might, you know, one of the things that you might worry about is that you're going to exclude your potential students from your classes, okay? So this actually is going to be further because your niche, it allows you to connect with your ideal students on a deeper level, okay? And it allows you to be really passionate, to be the passionate teacher that you really are. And when you teach with passion, your students are more engaged and they will tell their friends about you. They'll tell their friends about what an awesome yoga teacher you are, and you'll start to build your community. And that is how you build a community, when you become more authentic in your teachings and you show yourself to be really passionate as a yoga teacher. That's when people will be drawn to you. That's when you can start to build, you know, a passionate community around you that want to come to your classes, that want to book your workshops, that want to come to your retreats. So let's just talk about a few reasons why you should niche, just to be really, really clear about why you should and narrow in on. Bear with me one moment. Narrow in on a plugging the power back in. Narrow in on a niche community. Well, one of the reasons, and I've touched on this a little bit already, but one of the reasons is that you will successfully connect with your ideal student instead of trying to connect to everybody. Okay, and when you shift your mindset from wanting to serve everyone to focusing on your ideal student, you actually become really clear on who you're meant to teach, yeah, and who the exact people are that can benefit most from being your student. You will have a really, really clear idea about who these people are. Yeah, and you know, there are thousands of yoga teachers out there all over the world, but there are far fewer who specialize in something. And as you focus on your niche and you focus on your offering, you'll teach with more passion. I've said this many times already, but you'll teach with more passion, and this really helps you to connect with your students on a much deeper level. And this moves us on nicely to another really good reason why you should niche, and that's because when you niche, your marketing becomes much easier And finding your ideal students becomes much easier because your message is clearer. So you'll naturally start to attract the right people for you. If you are teaching, yoga for injuries, say you're teaching yoga for depression, you are going to be speaking to the people out there who are suffering from depression and anxiety. You're only going to be teaching to those people, and those people will know that you are the right teacher for them. Okay, so your message becomes super, super, super clear. And, these students will start to seek you out. And if you have a website or if you have a blog where you talk about the benefits of yoga for depression and how it can help you with your anxiety and breathing techniques to help you throughout the day when you're having a panic attack, or all of these types of topics around yoga for depression, when you write about these things on your website, you're more likely to show up online when people are searching for it, when those ideal students are searching for it, and they'll find you. So your marketing efforts become more streamlined, they become more focused, and your brand starts to really kind of have a consistency about it. And, from that, you save time and you save money. So that's a really good thing to consider, is how you then go about marketing and promoting to your ideal student, and how you can benefit from that by having a niche. You also stand out, so you'll build your credibility. And you'll stand out and you'll become an expert. So again, I'll use the same example, but if you are focusing on yoga for depression, you'll become an expert in that field. And there are yoga teachers out there who are experts in that field. If you Google yoga for depression, there's, I think her name is Anna Weisbeck. So she'll come up, and she has written books about yoga for depression. She writes regularly in publications around yoga for depression. So she really has carved out that niche for herself, and has helped to establish herself as an expert in that particular area. And again, that helps you to stand out. Because you have a unique audience who are really connecting with you because of what you have to offer. Another great thing about having a niche is that if you focus on something, you actually end up deepening your own knowledge and growing your confidence around that particular subject. Okay, so you'll be able to really as you become an expert in it, you'll gain more expertise, you'll gain more knowledge, and you'll become more confident in delivering your teachings and delivering your marketing for your offerings. And lastly, and this is a really great one, you'll be more happy. So you'll be happier, you'll be more fulfilled because you're teaching in your authentic style. It's true to you. You're teaching from the heart. And when you teach from the heart, you attract your true fans. And these are the people who follow you from studio to studio. They connect with you deeply and what you have to offer. So you really begin to just teach in your personal style that you love, and you'll start to accept that some people will love it and some people won't, and that's a fact of life, isn't it? You can't love everything. People aren't always going to connect with you. Okay, so when you start to understand that, you can just focus your teachings on the people that do love it. And by doing so, you become happier, you become more fulfilled. And isn't that a great thing? I think, if anything, of all the benefits, that's just a perfect one for me, because to be able to go to a studio and teach from your heart and come away and really feel like you've connected with your students, it's such a magical, magical feeling. Okay, so I'm just going to check in here, see if there's any questions. I've been talking for a long, long time. Yes, that is true. Annie, you are correct. That is the crux of it. Doing what you love and being true to yourself. Definitely. It really, really is. Thank you for that. So I hope I have you on side now. I hope you're starting to realize that we're starting to see that, which is a really great thing for your yoga business. But you might be thinking now, well, how do I go about finding my yoga niche? What do I do? How do I discover who it is that I'm, supposed to be teaching, even if you've been teaching for a while now? We obviously know the benefits. I've talked through some of the benefits and given you some ideas for niches. But I'm going to talk you through now 3 steps for exploring and trying to discover, who it is that you are meant to be teaching from your heart. And I will say that you should give yourself some time for this. It's not something that you just, will find overnight, or you really should just give yourself some time just to let it really kind of sink in. And the first step actually is reflection. Okay, so you should reflect on, how you teach, okay, and also the classes that you've taught in the past, and just reflect on, what it is that you enjoy most from teaching, what it is that you really enjoy from teaching yoga, and are there any specific previous classes or events that you've taught at where you felt really alive? Can you pinpoint any previous, occasions in the past where you really felt like just fired up from teaching that class? And then reflect on your own personal yoga practice. Okay, so how is it different to what you teach? So I want you to really take some time with this bit. Okay, so you can maybe journal, you can meditate on it, but think about the specific parts of your yoga teaching and your yoga and your own personal practice that really get you fired up. What is it that you're living for in your practice or in your teaching? Are you living for the philosophy? Is yoga therapy your passion? And you can start to begin to map out your relationship with these topics. And by doing that, you'll get a clearer picture of who you are as a yoga teacher. Ultimately, you want to go inwards here, okay? So you need to tap into your intuition and your authentic, deep self and really ask yourself, what kind of yoga teacher am I? Okay, so take your time with that. And then I want you to move on to step 2, which is about brainstorming. Okay, so you're going to go on and brainstorm some ideas related to the other passions in your life, okay? Because your niche is just as much about your personality as it is about your students' needs. And these 2 key things must work together for your niche to be a success. Okay, so you can ask yourself a few questions. Okay, so you could ask yourself, what hobbies and interests do I have outside of yoga? What do you do in your free time? Who and what inspires you? Is it nature, certain books, authors, culture, music, teachers? So who and what inspires you? What do people ask you advice on? Okay, so if I think about this particular question for myself, over the years, people have asked me advice on career advice, funnily enough, how to CVs, help with CVs. I've had a lot of requests from friends on that. So ask yourself that. What do people ask you for advice on? And what has influenced you? What has influenced your life and shaped who you are now, who you are today? You could also have a think about what comes easy to you, okay? What comes easily to you that you don't really have to think about, it just comes naturally. And then, what education and training have you had, and what do people say you're good at? Yeah, ask your friends, even ask some of your students. Ask some of your students that. What do they most enjoy about your class? Yeah, so that's another way just to kind of go through those questions and brainstorm some ideas. And again, just take your time, but you might start to get a few answers, and you could just see, are those answers, are those things that have come up, are they a good fit with yoga, or could they work with yoga? Yeah. And then step 3 is all about testing and evaluating. Okay. So the only way that you're truly going to know if you found your niche is to test it out. Okay. So before you start telling everyone and changing your website about your new focus as a teacher, I want you to test it out, and I want you to host a class with your niche. Okay. Because you need to get real clarity on this by taking some action. Okay, so it's really important. It's no good just doing all this brainstorming and having a think if you're not going to go and take the action that you need to make this happen. And you're only going to get real clarity by taking action. And one of the ways you can do that is by hosting a free yoga class and then inviting people from your niche to attend the class. So if your new niche, if you find that you love running and you've been going to a running club every week and you really love running, and you're obviously a yoga teacher, otherwise you wouldn't be here now, but you want to marry these two, you want to combine these two passions and offer some yoga classes for runners. Okay, so this is a new thing for you, but this is what you really want to do. Well, tap into the community that you're running with. So if you're in a running club, ask them to come along to your yoga class, host it for free, to come along and get feedback from them and see how it feels as well. Yeah, see how it feels before you truly commit to your new niche and your new focus, because as we all know, sometimes these ideas, they look good on paper, but when you actually try them out, logistically they might not make sense, but also emotionally they might not deliver for you. So it's really important to see how it feels when you test this out for real. And then not forgetting to look online, do a little bit of research and see who else is offering yoga in your niche. Okay, don't be put off if you find there are teachers there offering yoga for runners or yoga for depression or whatever it might be, because actually it's a good sign. It shows that there is some demand there. Okay, so don't let that put you off if you're not going to be the first person to deliver this style of yoga or this combination of yoga. And remember that your niche might not be what you originally planned, but ultimately it's going to be much more rewarding because it's more aligned with your truest self. Okay, and when you do that, when you inhabit this role that only you can fill, you know that you're actually doing what you should be doing here. Okay, so you're really making your ultimate contribution to the world and to your teaching. Okay, so I hope that's really helped you today. I have had a couple of questions which I'm just going to run through now. So one of the questions I've had really around a fear, I guess a kind of niche fear is that I was asked by Claire, who lives in Sydney, and she's asked me, won't I end up earning less money if I niche? Okay, and she's already been teaching for 2 years, and you should know that. Well, you now know why you should niche, right? So you're not necessarily going to earn less money, and actually the opposite might be true. Okay, because many teachers think that by niching they're going to limit the number of students that they'll be teaching. Okay, and while that might be the case, it shouldn't be a worry, because niching actually helps you to sharpen your marketing message so that the right students and clients find you. Okay, so these are what are called your ideal students. Okay, so if at the moment you're teaching lots of people, they come and go, maybe into your studio class, they're not necessarily your ideal students. Okay, but your ideal students will want to practice with you time and time again. Okay, and it's actually more expensive for you to attract new ideal students than it is to keep the ones that you've got. Okay, so by focusing on ideal students, and you do that obviously by niching, you'll actually start to create your true fans, okay? And they're the people that are going to spend money with you, okay? So you won't earn less. In fact, you could earn more, because they're the people that will go on to buy your higher priced products, such as your workshops that cost more than a yoga class, and also your retreats. So only your ideal students that are going to go on to book those things with you. Okay, so it really shouldn't be a worry that you're going to lose students, or that you're going to teach less people from narrowing down. Okay, so the other question I had, which was from Sandra, she didn't say where she was from. She said that if she niches, she would only ever be able to teach in this specific niche. So what I can say about that is that actually your niche, well, just like you evolve as a yoga teacher, your niche will also evolve. Okay, so as you niche, you become an expert in that subject and in that area. And as you become an expert, you build up your credibility. And when you have credibility as a yoga teacher, this enables you to actually branch out more successfully in the future, okay? So you might be thinking, well, you know, I'm a yoga teacher, I've done my training, I've learned so much, I've got many strings to my bows, I want to teach it all, I want to share all that knowledge that I've got. And niching can probably feel quite scary, because you're potentially doing the opposite of that by just narrowing down. But actually the reason why a niche is so remarkable is because you get to be 100% authentically you, and to build a really loyal tribe of students that resonate with you. And when you grow, or from that place, you can actually grow more consistently over time. And it actually becomes way more successful to enter and to flourish into other niches. Okay, so I hope that's helped answer those questions. And so now you've got a real kind of complete idea of, you know, what a yoga niche is, the benefits for having one, how you can go about finding your niche with my 3-step process that I've walked you through. So the only thing now to do is to just really, you know, get out there and see if you can go about finding your niche, okay? Because there is really something out there that only you can teach to the world, and that is your niche. So go out there and discover exactly what it is that you're meant to be teaching, and exactly who it is that you're meant to be teaching. I hope you've enjoyed this Facebook and Instagram Live. Hello, both. And I hope it's been useful for you. If you have any more questions, can't see if there are any more. I can't see any more questions that have come up yet, but if I will check afterwards. If you have any more questions, just put them in the comments and I will be sure to answer them for you. And thank you for joining me today. What I will do now is I'm going to share a blog post about niching, which you'll find some more information. And also, there's going to be a freebie there for you as well, download, which is going to give you lots and lots of ideas on how to niche, and well, lots of ideas for different niches that you could potentially explore for yourself. So over and out from me. Thank you so much for joining. I will be back again next week. Thank you, everyone. See you all soon. Take care.